Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of Strong Style here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined by these two wonderful gentlemen. We're going to get into so much going on in the world of pro wrestling for your entertainment. Aaron Turner, how are you, brother?
I'm enjoying a house hotel weekend. If you've watched the league, you know what that is. My wife has been out of town since Thursday. She won't be back till tomorrow.
Nice.
So it's house hotel weekend. I'm walking around the house and whatever the hell I want. So
hello.
It's pretty great.
Hey,
but I love her.
Great show, The League on FX. That show ran for 6-7 seasons. Fantastic show. You need to go and rewatch that, people, if you haven't seen it. I think it's on Hulu. And joining us as well, Chris Burns, the Darkitect. How are you, Chris? Good week for you and your Bullet Club, Chris.
Listen. The world is Bullet Club. Except for all you people tweeting about why I'm not in the opening video at the start of the show, leave John alone. It's completely my fault. If you've been watching pro wrestling TV for the past week, Bullet Club is busy. We got a lot going on, a lot of decisions to make, a lot of moves that need to be figured out. Okay, we're busy. I'll take some pictures. I'll get in the crawl. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
That's right. That's right. And we're definitely going to cover that for sure. JY beat even more of a presence this week, back again here. I got to get that shirt. I got to get that Catalyst shirt of his. That looks pretty awesome. I wish they'd stop making black shirts, though. Can we do other colors? There are other colors in the spectrum, for God's sakes. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Red. There you go. It's fantastic. We're definitely going to cover that AEW NJPW Forbidden Door pay-per-view. We're going to talk a little bit about Raw and SmackDown, get into some Dynamite and Rampage highlights as well. And we're also, as you see from the thumbnail and the title of this episode, we're going to talk about how WWE should book Alexa Bliss going forward. This has been a big deal over the last few weeks. You know, Alexa making a big deal of the fact that she wasn't at WrestleMania. Then was it Sean Ross over there at Fightful tweeted about how he's got the inside scoop for why Alexa Bliss hasn't been on TV. And Alexa Bliss actually tweeted back and said, I wonder why. So just really calling him to the carpet, which it's not been a good few weeks recently for my man over there at Fightful. So some fun stuff. We're going to get into all of that. But always remember, the Streamlabs and SuperChats are open. Support the show. Support what we got going on. Make it possible to keep bringing this show to you all here on the Outlaw Nation channel. It is right above Aaron's head there, and I'm also going to pin it in the chat. All right, Aaron, where shall we get going here? Where shall we start at?
We're just going to start with the title. We're going to start with how should we book Alexa Bliss going forward? Like you said, she's been in the news rebutting Sean Ross Sapp. Of course, she just got married to Ryan Cabrera, so congratulations to her and Ryan and all that kind of good stuff. But we haven't seen her since Elimination Chamber back in Saudi Arabia in, I believe, February. So it's been a minute since we've seen Alexa Bliss. And before that, we hadn't seen her for a long time.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about it. I mean, she wasn't at this year's WrestleMania. She was at last year's WrestleMania, but she didn't wrestle.
Right.
She was in the Fiend Randy Orton stuff. And I believe she was there the year before that, but the year before that, she was a host.
She was a host, yeah.
So it's like at 3 of the past 4 years, she was not active at WrestleMania. And this is a former women's champion and one of the top draws in the company, still is.
Yeah.
So it kind of begs to reason, why can they not find something for her to do? The rumor going around is that they don't have creative for her. I don't really believe that. But I mean, what's the deal? How do you not book one of your top stars?
Yeah. Chris, thoughts on this?
I don't know. It seems to me that, I mean, as we've known over the years, Vince McMahon kind of has tunnel vision about certain things. I just think Alexa is a victim of circumstance in how many women there actually are on the roster. If you look at the main men's roster, if it's not Roman, there's not a whole lot of attention being given to the rest of whatever the hell is going on.
Right.
So, but there's so many more male wrestlers to choose from and to put on TV and to do things.
Yeah.
The sheer lack of women on the roster, he's only focused on whatever the hell Charlotte's doing. And that really kind of seems to be it. You know what I mean? Even though there's a whole ass other champion. Becky, it kind of seems like he's like, well, whatever she wants to do, just let her do it. You know, she makes off-color comments on TV, on social media. So many other women wrestlers, I'm sure, would be reprimanded for. And so she kind of has carte blanche. So I think he just only really focuses on whatever Charlotte and Ronda are doing.
Yeah.
And then the rest be damned. And Alexa just kind of falls by the wayside. It ends up in fucking catering. Or not even invited to the show in the case of, I guess, WrestleMania, where she wasn't in Dallas.
Yeah. It's a fascinating conundrum because, as you said, Aaron, she is one of the top sellers of merch there in the company. She's one of the top stars in the company for sure. No matter what gimmick you give her, she finds a way to make it work every single time. I've never seen a wasted gimmick on Alexa Bliss, even the Fiend stuff. The reason a lot of people feel like the reason they got rid of the Fiend is Alexa had taken that gimmick and went even farther with it than Bray Wyatt was able to go. And you could argue booking, you could argue creative on that. That's totally fair. But you can't argue the fans' reaction to her doing this thing with that doll of hers. And, had it worked the whole program with Charlotte with that doll of hers. They brought her in for the psychiatry thing. That thing crashed and burned like crazy. And I don't think that was Alexa Bliss's fault. I think that was dumb creative's fault in terms of that direction and that terrible psychiatrist actor they got, which was no good. It just didn't work. So, and then poof, those things just disappeared and we didn't hear anything about it after that. So certainly WWE doesn't have a problem at times like just killing angles when they don't think it's working. So the question is, well, what do you do with her? I think, my personal opinion, I think you shed that gimmick that she just had, all that stuff with the Fiend, because that is connected to someone who's no longer with the company. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense anymore. Throw away that doll. You could make a whole explanation that doll was helping her through a tough time in her life. Now she's come to kind of really understand who she is. She's gotten married. You can make a big deal about that. And you can bring back the original Twisted Bliss, Alexa Bliss. The one that slid in there was snarky as hell, got the job done, got those titles, surprised people with victories. All of that. The fans love when you walk away from a gimmick and you try something new, and it works to a degree, but then when you come back to the gimmick after a few years away from it, people absolutely embrace it powerfully. We saw that with The Undertaker, right? Going to that American Badass stuff and then coming back and being The Undertaker again. People went crazy for it. I think that's the path for Alexa. You set her up with Bianca, or you set her up possibly, could be crazy here. We've got a time clock Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair situation. Wouldn't it be incredible if Alexa shows up and there's a draw and stops someone from winning that beat the clock situation, and she now is immediately injected into a triple threat match with Charlotte Ronda? Because Lord knows that program and that matchup could use someone who knows how to talk on the mic and does well in the ring other than Ronda Rousey. So to kind of help Charlotte a little bit more in that program, bring in Alexa Bliss, and that could be a lot of fun for sure. She doesn't have to win, but it could be a lot of fun to reintroduce her back with the fans.
Well, before Chris gets started with his good creative, as he texted with us,
Yeah,
it's good stuff, guys. It's good stuff coming up. Booker of the year. I made a tier list of the women of the WWE currently in the main roster and a few notable NXT people, and I broke it down into 5 categories. The top category is superstar.
Yeah.
The second is world champion or world champion caliber.
Mm-hmm.
Third category is blue chip. The fourth category is we're not sure. Jury's still out. And the last one is we don't have anything for you. So let me just go through this real quick.
Okay.
And I'll tell you who I've got where. So in the bottom category, if I don't have anything for you, I have Dana Brooke, Carmella.
Wait. I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay,
She's 24/7 title champion. They have something for her.
And that's enough. And that's enough.
Tomato.
Yeah, and that's enough.
Fair enough.
Dana Brooke, this is currently. So like we don't have anything we're not putting you in the world title picture is what I mean.
Right. Okay.
Dana Brooke, Carmella, Aaliyah, Nikki Ash, and Tamina. Don't have anything for you. We're not sure where the hell we're doing with you right now. The jury is still out tier. Like we're not sure like how or what or where. The jury's still out tier is pretty big. It's Dewdrop. I stuck Alexa Bliss in there because we don't know what they're doing with her. Right. Lacey Evans, because we see these new vignettes, but we don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan, she just got killed. Natalya, Zelina Vega, Shotzi, who we haven't seen. Xia Li, who we finally saw again last night. Welcome back, Xia Li. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. So it's like we're not really sure what's going on there. That's the jury is still out tier. The blue chipper tier, like your best like rookies and up and comers. I've got Cora Jade from NXT, Gigi Dolan from NXT, Nikita Lyons from NXT, and of course Raquel Rodriguez from Smack, who just debuted on SmackDown. And now we have our world title / caliber tier: Io Shirai, Naomi, Mandy Rose, Asuka, Rhea Ripley. And then in your top tier, your superstar tier is Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. It should be no surprise that those are the superstars. But as I just went through all those names, where does Alexa Bliss fall in the rest of those names?
For me, I think she's still in the superstar status situation, even though there's nothing creatively for her right now, no booking creatively for her right now. You can't tell me that if they just automatically threw her into a title match, anybody would have an issue with it. It's Alexa Bliss.
So. Yeah, I don't
She's
think
a
so.
multiple-time champion and beaten some of the best in the business, and she immediately gets a crowd reaction no matter what version of Alexa Bliss comes through the curtain there. So to me, that's where you put her in the superstar status. But currently, she's absolutely in the I don't know what we're going to do with you status right now of your particular construct, man.
Yeah, it's just I don't know where you put her. Like I don't know what you do with her right now. Chris has a really good idea, and I can't wait to get to that. And then I'm just going to steal his idea. So go ahead, Chris. It's great.
I mean, the best creative or the best booking is when you engage real life with work life. You know, as far as things being work, a kayfabe, I guess is the best way to say it. And I think that you have an opportunity here to do that very thing with Alexa Bliss. You know, it's tough for me, it's tough to go to any gimmick that she's already done at this point. Because then it's just I think that's going to accentuate the fact that they don't have any ideas. It's just like, well, I mean, we're just going to slap the gimmick that she already had.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? So you want to kind of blur in the lines is always when you've drawn the big money. You know, NWO was a blurring the lines of reality. Even Mega Powers Explode was blurring the lines of reality.
Yeah.
To some extent. You know what I mean? So I think that's exactly what you got to do here with Alexa. My idea is going to put a lot of weight on her shoulders, but I think that she can handle it on the mic, the acting, her facials, her in-ring work, everything. And also, I think now you have an opportunity to do a company spanning storyline, which again, I think always makes the big money. You know, they dropped the ball when they had the Nexus. That could have been a big company-wide storyline.
Oh yeah, that would have been great.
You know, but anytime you can make that happen, I mean, Austin McMahon was a company spanning storyline. So I think you can kind of do a similar thing here with Alexa Bliss. So basically how this would get going is I don't know who would happen to first. Maybe the therapist that they have, you know, saddled Alexa with. They advertise that there's going to be another therapy segment for, you know, Miss Bliss. And then throughout the show, we just see the therapist there. He's checking his watch because she's not showing up. He doesn't know what's going on. Then later on, when we check in with him, he's just been decimated. He's knocked out. He's on the floor. The whole room is a mess. We don't know what the hell's going on. But sitting right near him or on him is a Lily doll. Little misdirection, because of course what you're thinking is, oh, she's going back to the spooky stuff. She's going back to the, you know, the little mini Undertaker Alexa Bliss thing. Not the case, because then the next week we find somebody from Aaron's tier of creative has nothing to do with knocked out in catering. Food's everywhere. Tables are broken. Dana Brooke is laid the fuck out. What's there? One of Xia Li's old, like, masks and staffs from her old gimmick. And this keeps going on. Random people are getting taken out, and every time you find them, a piece of an old gimmick is there. This leads into the storyline that's already started between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, where Adam says, you've been in charge of the women's division up to this point, and there's absolute chaos. The superstars are getting taken out. Nobody has a camera in catering or backstage when these attacks are happening. You're already on probation, basically. You're putting yourself in world title matches. You need to fix this, or it's going to be a serious problem.
Right.
So, eventually, Sonya's had enough. She comes out to the ring. She demands to know what's going on. She wants somebody to turn her in. Lights go out. Alexa Bliss shows up, cuts the promo, about what we all been thinking. Like, you got nothing for me in creative. I've been sitting back there waiting for my time. Right. I'm watching, you know, all you guys do is focus on these other women. You focus on, you know, BS that you yourself are trying to make happen. You're trying to become a champion when everyone knows that I'm the goddess of this situation. So I'm going to, and then you can even wink and nod, I'm going to take control of my own narrative. And then she beats the absolute shit out of Sonya Deville. Absolute shit. So, you know, I could go into a way more. I've literally thought in my head, like I know what pay-per-views, I know what episodes of Raw and SmackDown that I'd have this all build up to, but I don't want to take up the entire show. So essentially the storyline you're creating is that Alexa Bliss, if they don't have ideas for her, she's going to insert herself into every storyline.
That's a great point. Jesus.
Every woman's match that happens, Alexa's not even going to let it go down. Right. And as time goes on, she recruits more and more people that WWE doesn't have creative for. Xia Li, Shotzi, Doudrop, Shayna Baszler. She builds an entire army of people with no creative. And Sonya, you know, it becomes more and more of a problem for her that she can't handle. Yeah. So she's got to call in the big guns. She's got to call in the 4 horsewomen because they're the standard bearers. They're the ones that Alexa's mad at, and aside from anybody, because why? They're the ones getting the WrestleMania moments. Mm-hmm. They're the ones getting the spotlight. They're the ones getting the titles. And Alexa's the one who deserves it. And the best kind of bad guys are those who are kind of right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think in this situation, Alexa Bliss can be that Magneto. She can be that person who has a point, even though the way she's going about it may not be the best, but whatever. So, you know, essentially you have this standoff between the 4 horsewomen and Alexa's army. I wanted to name them like creative control, but then I realized that was the Harris brothers in WCW, and so I don't want anything to do with that. J-Dog in the comments says no direction. I like that a lot. And so essentially that's what the storyline becomes. And then in the midst of the chaos and the company spanning war between the 4 horsewomen and Alexa Bliss, one of 2 things can happen. Either Asuka returns and becomes the great equalizer in this whole thing. Yeah. Or Roman Reigns says, you know what, Naomi, these chicks are just messing up my company. Yeah. As someone who's connected to the bloodline, you need to go handle this. And then she gets inserted in the situation. Now you have literally every woman has something meaningful to do in this storyline. Endless matchups that you can make happen. You have your main characters, your side characters, but everyone is involved and everyone has stakes. Everything matters. You know, you can have it culminate at Survivor Series. You can have it culminate at WrestleMania. Yeah. Endless possibilities, but essentially that's like the spine of the no direction storyline.
Wow.
I'll give J-Dog the title credit there.
Much love there to J-Dog for that suggestion. Yeah. All right. Well, damn, I love that. I kind of love that. Her building her own faction. I see some people who are commenting, oh, she should join Edge's faction. Listen, Alexa is not meant to ride shotgun, ladies and gentlemen, as the Fiend will tell you. Alexa is not meant to ride shotgun. She leads. Her personality is so strong, so big, so beloved by the WWE universe that she eclipses just about anyone else that she's in a faction with. So it doesn't make any sense other than to have her lead her own faction. And, you know, Chris, it's interesting you bring this up, especially this week. You know, today is Britt Baker DMD's birthday, and we saw her promo there in her match and promo she did in Pittsburgh, and she essentially called out the women's division a little close to kind of shooting on the women's division there in Tony Khan's face, saying, hey, this, you know what happened when I left? This division went right into the toilet. And some people really agree with her. So look at the comments. Certainly that's been the big negative criticism of the women's division in AEW. Could Alexa Bliss lead a faction that is calling out creative, calling out Vince? It leads to Stephanie possibly getting in. Would Stephanie have the guts that Vince did to take the losses, to take the hits, to take the embarrassment that he did at the hands of Stone Cold, at the hands of The Rock, at the hands of a number of people during the whole corporation run. You could make that a part of this as well, where, hey, you talked about elevating women, blah, blah, blah. You can't even find something for me to do. How good are you really? But Stephanie always has to win, unfortunately. But for once, could she lose in a storyline to help elevate the talent? I think it would be fantastic. And even go farther. And I love your idea of Roman Reigns getting involved, where Roman Reigns kind of ignores it because it's a little bit of a rumble. It's not that big of a deal. But then something happens that causes it to be an earthquake in his company, and now he has to pay attention to it and send Naomi out there. That's actually a really great idea. Aaron, your thoughts on Chris's stuff? Oh, Chris, you had one more to add?
I forgot. The big surprise
was
going to be the true mastermind of the story and the of what Alexa's doing.
Yeah.
Not Alexa. Paige would actually be the mastermind behind this. The epitome of too much talent. And she's getting paid currently by WWE, and they never feature her. So
pay her user.
Exactly. So I would definitely bring Paige into the situation. Maybe that could be what gets revealed when Stephanie interjects herself, and then then Paige shows up.
Yeah.
Boom.
Aaron, thoughts on all of this?
I think Haskell might have it. He says the true mastermind, the masterpiece, Chris Masters.
No,
appreciate that. That's like a running thing now. Like, we got to get Chris Masters in once a show. But I do like the Stephanie involvement that you added there. I think that's great. I think it would be really cool if, like, Sonya Deville gets fired, Stephanie brings in Paige to replace her, because Paige was already on, like, SmackDown as a GM. She's pretty good. I like Paige as an on-air character.
Yeah,
and it's revealed somewhere down the road, like, as they're working together, that Paige is in on it, and she, like, beats down Stephanie and stuff. I mean, I'm already imagining, like, when Chris pitched this to us in text, I was like, you know what? I could totally see Alexa Bliss, as good as she is on the mic. Like, there's a backstage thing where she runs into Nikki ASH or Nikki Cross, and she's like, Alexa's like, you realize you look stupid, right? And Nikki Cross is just like, weren't you evil like 2 weeks ago or something like that? And then Alexa responds with, yeah, isn't that how this place works? And then like, just breaking the fourth wall a little bit of how stupid some stuff is. And then I feel like Nikki Cross has got to be a part of this if we're going this way, because that's like her homie. And she's like, listen, I followed you once. I don't know if I could do it again, but I'm willing. I need something.
Right.
I need something to do other than being in wedding segments and stupid shit like that. So I like the idea. I think Alexa definitely needs more mic time, because she shut down the what chants. Like, when the crowd tried to water, she shut it down. Charlotte Flair gets eaten alive every time. They do it to her, and they eat her alive. And Alexa's not like that. She had, like, the one horrible segment with the Bailey "This Is Your Life" thing. That wasn't her fault. She didn't write that. So I think Alexa being the figurehead makes the most sense of this entire group. And then the whole creative direction thing's great. I know people in the comments are like, WWE will never do it. Well, yeah, this is fantasy booking. We don't expect them to do it. So it would just be cool if they did. We're just throwing out creative ideas because we like Alexa and we want to see her on TV more. So this is a good way to do that.
Absolutely. Is there anything you would add to it, Aaron, to kind of maybe take it in a different direction, or add some more elements to it, or remove some elements from it?
The thing I like the most is Dewdrop being the heavy. And I would like to see something akin to the Jericho Appreciation Society, when Jericho was like, okay, your name's not fucking Dewdrop. We know it's a stupid name. Your name's Piper Niven. You can't say the Viper because it's Randy Orton, but you are Piper Niven. You're not Dewdrop. That's stupid. So, like, add that back in there. And it's like, you're not Shotzi. That's dumb. You're Shotzi Blackheart. There's a reason they call you the Blackheart and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool, man. Like, I want to see her do that, like, break the wall that way.
That could be fascinating. I dig it. I dig it a lot in how we could book. But let's deal with the reality of where we're at now. All right. If we've dealt with the fantasy booking and we're all on board with Chris's approach here. Now let's look at the other side of this. How do we think they're actually going to book her at this point? Do we even see her coming back? I mean, a piece of me feels like Alexa doesn't even need the WWE anymore. I mean, she's got Cabrera money now. She's set. She's happy. She's living out there in LA. She is gorgeous. So getting her acting jobs, getting her modeling jobs, getting her whatever jobs ain't going to be an issue. She could do a OnlyFans if she wanted to and actually explode that fucking app or whatever it is. And so there are options for her. I was looking her up. She even has like speaking engagement contracts. You can hire Alexa Bliss to speak at your convention or whatever. So she doesn't really need the WWE at this point anymore. So if she does come back, what do you see her doing? And if she doesn't come, or do you think she might not need to come back, gentlemen?
It seems to me that she definitely doesn't need it.
Yeah,
but she loves it.
Yeah,
she likes performing. Before this, she was a professional like bodybuilder, right? Yeah. And she likes the physics. Yeah, fitness model. She likes the physicality and likes to be able to show off and perform and be in front of crowds and get that adoration and get reactions. It's really like, icing on the cake, the fact that she's so good as like on the microphone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And does so much good character work. Like I remember when she first did that like weird arm pop spot where it looked like her arm had been popped out of the socket. Right. And just like little things like that. Like she's just so creative and just fun. And I think that not putting that to use is definitely getting to her. That's why she's been vocal on social media and, not just being like a lot of other wrestlers where it's like, well, I guess I'll just wait my turn. But, she's been doing it in a fun, funny way that's getting her point across.
Right.
And so I just think that she has that desire for her. And, I really, at this point, I have no idea how WWE actually is going to reintroduce her. I mean, there's like, it's like nothing, what I mean? Usually there's some dirt cheap ideas or this, that, and the other. There is like deafening silence to what possibly could happen with Alexa Bliss.
Aaron, what do you think?
I mean, I would like to think that like one of our booking ideas would flow, but I have a feeling that even though she doesn't need it at all, what if they gave her LA Knight as a manager? What if they brought LA Knight as like that Hollywood, like the Miz is like, oh, he's a Hollywood A-lister, but like now LA Knight's doing the story where he's like a Hollywood agent. Like, what if he was like, listen, I got my client Alexa Bliss ready to go, but you don't find out it's Alexa Bliss. It's like a star client or whatever. And it ends up being Alexa Bliss. That could be something. I mean, give LA Knight something to do. They give Alexa
do you mean like Hollywood Rock? Do you mean like we'd have Hollywood Alexa Bliss? Is that
yes. Like she's just an asshole and it works. That'd be great. And Ryan Cabrera money, I'm questioning on that as some people are in the chat. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
That wedding? That wasn't a cheap wedding, ladies and gentlemen.
I did see that wedding.
That was not a fucking cheap wedding, I
don't feel like that was Cabrera money that paid for that wedding, but I don't know. I don't want to go.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
On the way down. But yeah, man, I think that she was not long for the wrestling business, much longer. She's just one of those people that can eventually get away from it. She does like it. Of course she likes what she's doing, but I don't think she has to do this for a long time. I see like Charlotte is probably a lifer and some other people like Sasha. I don't think she's long for doing this much longer either. So even though she loves it to death, but Mandalorian and other things call. So yeah, I mean, just put her with LA Knight, see what happens there. And if not, then you can always change her back to the goddess at that point. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. We'll see for sure. I mean, it could be very interesting to see Alexa Bliss leading a faction. Could be interesting to see her coming back as the goddess or coming back as a Hollywood Alexa Bliss version or some other version. But at some point, I imagine she will come back. But there's nothing wrong with sitting out until the right creative angle comes back. Maybe that's another part of this is they respect her enough that they don't want to bring her back with some shit angle just to have her back on TV. They want to wait until something really makes sense and the avenues open up to bring her back in a way that works for the rest of the division because they do need her. They do need her because people are going crazy about this Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair situation that is just so exhaustively boring. So, we need to have her back for sure. We shall see. All right. Just a quick reminder, the Streamlabs and Super Chats are open for you all to send in your questions, thoughts, and comments. How would you book Alexa Bliss? What are your thoughts on it? Do you want to see her back? Do you think she doesn't need it anymore? What do you want to see her do next? Do you like Chris's idea, his booking angle, and where would you like that to go? Do you like Aaron's suggestions for it as well? Do you have any thoughts on my thoughts on it all? So let us know with the Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go along here. We do have a couple from Francisco Lopez. He says, hey guys, you may disagree with me on this, but I sometimes think that wrestlers from AEW, NJPW, Impact, NWA, and WWE should wrestle in the indies or other promotions and only wrestle in the promotions they work at. Because they shouldn't. They should stop wrestling in indies and other promotions and only wrestle in the promotions they work at. Because sometimes I fear that the wrestlers will get injury in the indies shows or other promotions, and that makes me understand why one of the reasons WWE won't let their employees wrestle in the indies and other promotions. What do you think? Yeah, we see this with a number of wrestlers being able to kind of wrestle. Certainly Jay White has been on our shows, wrestled in a number of different promotions. So what do you guys think about this?
Who was the person who wrote the comment?
This is Francisco Lopez.
Is Francisco Lopez a pen name for Vince McMahon? Because that is definitely the attitude that WWE has about it. They're very much like, they don't want their investment to be put at risk by, lending out to the people. Right. But the flip side of it, look what like a star like Jon Moxley's done for GCW. He's their world champion, and he's also in a big part of AEW, Blackpool Combat Club all day. But it's like, and it's elevated that promotion to a level that they hadn't seen, years previous to this, and people are checking for them, and that's getting more shine on the other members of their roster, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that all it does to me is help the wrestling business. Yeah. The more promotions that are thriving, the better the business is in general. The more fans that are out there, the more eyes are on the product, the more curious people become about other products. And, then the wrestlers have more places to work and make more money. And again, in turn, give us more entertainment. So I see nothing but an upside for it. Of course, you don't want. Now, Moxley's interesting because he's doing it in a way that I would not want if I was like Tony Khan. And, he's having like super dangerous matches outside of AEW. And that much I wouldn't want to happen. Like, you want to wrestle like a tag match or, a regular standard one-on-one match, fine. Don't go off having fucking death matches on the indies and getting your head stapled, when it's not on my television. Like, that's ridiculous. Right. But as far as just wrestling outside of your main promotion, I think that's totally fine.
Yeah. Aaron?
I'm going to have to sort of disagree with you there, as Bill Lumberg would say. But I 100% agree. If Jon Moxley is in my company, you're not going to wrestle for GCW. Like, it's not happening. GCW was the one that announced that he was coming back. AEW didn't even get to announce it. I would have been fucking furious. I would have been like, you mother effers are never booking him again. Yeah. And like, I think it really just depends on the person. Like, let's look at the people that do that cross stuff, like Jon Moxley. And I'm not wishing this, but if Jon Moxley were to get hurt, he's not the world champion. So it's like, kind of like, it hurts, but it's not going to kill you. Right. He was just gone for a few months. It didn't really hurt anything. So you got to look at the people doing it too. Like Hangman Page, Britt, Adam Cole, Punk, Danielson. They're not doing indies. Yeah. They're not, at least that I haven't seen any of them do them recently. So like Wardlow, MJF, like they're not doing the indies, man. So it depends on who you've got there. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about the New Japan crossover. Like we got guys doing that too. Mm-hmm. But as far as indies, as long as you're not, like Chris said, doing those death matches, it should be fine. Yeah.
I don't mind crossover as long as it's strategically coordinated, as long as it makes sense to elevate both brands, as long as it makes sense to elevate the wrestler as well. I got no problem with crossovers or whatever. I don't want them going all the way down to like Hollywood or Championship Wrestling in Hollywood. I don't want them wrestling in some shitty ass arenas where they might get injured. Just like football, you don't want them playing pickup football with their buddies or pickup basketball with their buddies. And next thing you know, torn MCL, torn ACL. I'd rather that, and you might say, well, they could do that in the league. That's where they're supposed to do it, in the league, because that's covered and that makes sense. And you're doing your job. You're not supposed to be doing it on your off hours. And we've seen some NFL players get in some stupid ass situations. I'm thinking of the guy, I can't remember the guy that twisted his knee and tore his knee up playing beach football. Like that kind of stuff can happen. And so you don't want them to be in that kind of a situation, but I don't mind any crossover as long as it's done safely and coordinated correctly with the right people so that it elevates both the wrestler and the brand, in my opinion. So there we go. All right. Anything more? No, that's it. That's the only Streamlab we have so far. So send them in, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going along here. Streamlabs and Superchats. And don't forget to hit a like on this video as well as we're going along. Seeing almost 70 of you joining us live right now. Kind of a light morning. Let's go, people. Come on. All right. What do we got here, Aaron? What's next?
Quick note, Alexa Bliss, bigger net worth than Ryan Cabrera. Moving on.
By $300,000. Don't act like it's a big thing. It's $2 million.
I didn't say it was.
$3 million.
I didn't say it was, but I'm just making the point. Man, that song must have hella royalties anyway.
I don't know. You guys think he's like bumming for money on the side of the road. What is wrong with you?
We haven't heard of this guy in like 20 years. He had that one song. It's like plays in every Walmart near you, but it's just like, Jesus.
Can I show you the 90s tour with one hit wonders, man? I mean, they're still making money. People
I don't think Chumbawamba's worth that much money, but anyway, let's move on.
How dare you?
I do like Chumbawamba, but they had more than one song. But anyway, we're going on to Monday Night Raw, and the top story coming out of Monday Night Raw is Theory, not Austin Theory, defeated Finn Balor to win the United States Championship, his first championship in the WWE.
What are we doing?
The question becomes that we may discuss is what happens to Finn Balor now. Rhea Ripley turns on Liv Morgan after losing their tag title match. Veer Mahan kills a local talent. Ezekiel, in his first action, defeated Chad Gable. The Street Profits defeated RK Bro. And Cody Rhodes defeated Kevin Owens by countout as Seth Rollins told him to get his fat ass in the ring. Oh. So any thoughts on Monday Night Raw and Austin Theory or Theory?
Chris, why don't you take this one first? I've been talking too much. Go ahead.
Monday Night Raw, for me, has become a one-segment show. Whatever Cody Rhodes is doing, I'll check it out. Anything else, I'm completely checked out. Wow. I don't look at those results, okay? It is Finn Balor, the guy who wanted to go to NXT UK after his NXT run as the Prince, a successful run, I would say. And they say, no, we need you on the main roster. We have big plans for you. We're not going to send you NXT UK. So he agrees. Since then, he's had that weird ass match with Roman Reigns where he sort of had the win and he falls off the top turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Never to be revisited again, even though he almost won. Then he is basically not used until he wins the United States title randomly, doesn't have a memorable run, and just gets fed to Theory. Because of, like we talked about at the top of the show, Vince McMahon's tunnel vision of, oh, well, I need to get Theory this belt. I don't even care who he beats for it. I don't care who gets damaged in the process. Same thing for the rest of the show. It's like, okay, let's beat Chad Gable while he has momentum so that we can get this new fucking character over of Ezekiel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't, there's no one to care about, you know what I mean, on Monday Night Raw except for Cody. He's the only one being pushed as a big deal. And so he's the only one I'm going to gravitate towards. Like, I could have missed that entire episode of Raw, and then all I would have come away with was like, oh, okay, yeah, Austin Theory still being pushed with the Vince McMahon storyline, and Cody Rhodes did a thing. Everything else is inconsequential, and there's 3 hours of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is my incentive to sit there and watch 3 hours of Raw when there's literally 2 things of consequence that came out of the whole episode?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's my thoughts.
Okay.
As far as Theory becoming a one-name guy, yeah, that sounds cool. WWE champion Theory. Like, it sounds like the bad guy from fucking Incredibles. Like, I don't know.
Syndrome. Yeah. Syndrome.
Come on, man. Let people have 2 names. This is fucking stupid.
I know it seems like somebody in creative or Vince or somebody just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to start changing names. This is good karma for me for some reason. This works for me, whatever, energy-wise. The crystals are telling me to change names. It makes no sense that all of a sudden they're starting to do that with a number of their wrestlers, which they've never done in the past to this frequency. So it just feels weird to see it happening on so many levels. And I don't understand. The Theory thing is dumb. Theory wins. Theory's nothing. It's like, well, I don't know. That's just, it's not like it's a cool ass name. Like, you know, what would you say? Cena or Austin.
His real name.
Yeah, his real name. Right. Exactly. I don't know. It just feels weird. Yeah. What happens to Finn Balor? It's a good question. I don't know, man. Some people get caught up in the grind of the WWE, right? Like Ricochet. I mean, that guy came in with all kinds of accolades, and people were expecting so much. And it just kind of, he's bubbling back up a little bit now. But, you know, he wasn't at WrestleMania. It wasn't that big of a deal. And so it's like, okay, what do you do with him? And I feel bad for people like Finn Balor because they're kind of stuck in that situation with a contract. And they just kind of maybe in that phase where like, all right, I'll take the wins. I'll take the losses, whatever. Maybe I'll bubble back up to the surface at some point and win the title. Who knows? If I play my cards right or if I stay a good soldier, who knows? I don't know what his mentality is in the approach, but yeah, what do you do with him? You send him back down again? Because that's a mid-card title. So where does he go now? It's a good question. Rhea turning a Liv, we all called that, so no surprise there. She's probably going to join the faction with Edge, and that makes more sense than Alexa, in my opinion. I will say this, though. I thought the Chad Gable segment with Ezekiel and the lie detector thing, that thing really worked. And ironically, and some people might be mad about me on this, I think Kevin Owens fucked that segment up. I think he talked too much. I think it should have been Chad versus Ezekiel with Kevin getting a little more irate, physically, but not verbally, and seeing him go, no, ask it again, ask it differently, ask it this way, ask it like it just kind of interrupted the segment. Gable was doing his best Kurt Angle Jr. and he even said it's true. He almost said it's damn true. I saw it like lingering on the tips of his lips before he pulled himself back. So it would have been, I think that would have been better to have them have the segment with just Owens just in the background, just absolutely not buying any of this shit without verbally speaking about it too much. And then of course, eventually the match happened and Gable put Ezekiel over. All this speak with Zeke thing is not going to work for me on so many levels. It does nowhere near the walk with Elias thing that it used to have. That was so much better. And then in the end, the Cody Rhodes thing was weird though. Guys, I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but I started to feel like, oh boy, this is the first half step towards booking Cody terribly, having Kevin Owens lose by count out to Cody rather than a legitimate clean victory pin that pushes Cody to the top, and then having Seth knock him off the top of the ring rope. I get what we're setting up. This was the first time where I was like, oh boy, here we go. We're not going to give him clean victories over our stars, but we'll set him up to have these feuds with other people and blah, blah, blah. So it just felt weird to me. Why is he fighting Cody if his issues with fucking Ezekiel? It just didn't make sense. So that's my thoughts on Raw.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Too much Kevin Owens. Like,
yes.
It's too much. I was like, God damn, like, is he in every segment? But anyway, I don't think I would ever advocate for this, but I kind of want to see Finn Balor literally anywhere else. One of the super chats, we'll get to it, but it's just like you said, you can't, where do you go from here? You can't go back to NXT because you already did that.
Yeah.
And you killed it in NXT, and then they brought you back up and they did nothing with you.
Yeah. And
it's just like, God damn, you can't get a break. Cornette on his podcast, he was talking about the Theory name change because he really likes Austin Theory, and he said Theory is a really stupid name. He goes, imagine, if you will, your headlining match is Theory versus Riddle. He goes, what the fuck is that? Theory versus Riddle. The dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I'm not like too crazy. Like, I don't get too insane about the name changes. Like, Walter to Gunther took me a while, but I got there. But one of the name changes I came across this week where I was just like, that is just terrible, is they changed Casey Catanzaro in NXT to Katana Chance. And I said, okay, number one, Katana, she is not a katana because there's one katana and she's in Mortal Kombat, and that ain't it. Number two, Chance, another stupid name. So you'd have Riddle with Chance versus Theory with fucking Hypothesis. I don't know. It's awful. It's so awful. Why they couldn't just call her Casey Quinn or something like that? Like, make it real simple. Because they changed, oh God, I forget what Caden Carter's original name was, but they changed it to Caden Carter. It's like, that's fine. That works. Okay. That seems like that would be a real person's name. But Katana Chance, it's like, that's a Mortal Kombat character, and then that is a character from Halloween Horror Nights. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So.
Also, Katana's a Japanese reference, isn't it? Am I wrong on that?
I mean, it's a Japanese sword, yeah.
Thank you. So she's of Italian descent, so it makes even less sense that that's the connection overall. For
racism in the WWE? Never in my life. Get out of here.
You know whose name they haven't changed? Because she's too much woman for just one name. Nikita Lyons, baby. No way can that fit all in just one little package. She's already bursting out of the package that she's in right now, and I love every minute of it. Nikita Lyons. Keep the name. Do not fuck with this.
Oh, yeah. What if they changed her name? Oh, my God. You guys.
Oh, my God. No.
I actually like Murder Onto the chat says Ludwig Kaiser is a much more German sounding than Marcel Barthel, which sounds like a Swiss and French mime. Someone said that Marcel Barthel's his real name. So I was like, oh, okay. But I like Ludwig Kaiser. I think that's great. I think it's a great name.
Okay. No, it gives me Ludwig Borga.
Well, we probably shouldn't draw correlations to white supremacists. You're right.
Yeah, probably not the best thing. Yeah, Marcel Barthel is his actual birth name. So, I guess that's why.
It's kind of hard to say.
His dad's name is Axel Dieter. That's a great name.
That's a cool name.
Oh, my God.
Go with that.
I mean, he wrestled in Germany under Axel Dieter Jr. So, man, just change it to Axel Dieter. Let it be, man.
Zeno Hour says, did anyone see Nikita Lyons' Earth Day tweet?
Yeah.
Funny story about that behind the scenes. But anyway, all right, let's move on to some Streamlabs and SuperChats, shall we?
Yeah. Oh my. Okay. All right. Good to know. That's quite a tweet that she has put forth here for us to enjoy here. Whoa. There it is. Happy Earth Day, everybody. I don't know. I'm not seeing Earth in this picture that much. Like, no offense.
She's on Earth. That's all that matters.
Fair enough. Okay, she's on Earth. Okay.
And has a gravitational pull.
Pool or pull? I don't know what you mean. All right, let's get to some of these Streamlabs and Super Chats before they go away here. JMB sending us one. He says, why can't I bring it up? There we go. As a guy who used to watch wrestling, I listen because of the passion you guys bring to the show. If you were to introduce wrestling to an utter newbie, where would you suggest they start? Thanks, guys. Gentlemen?
No, I'm just kidding. That is actually an interesting question because, like, right now, it's like if you've been watching for a while, you kind of get what's going on. You know what? I would send him to AEW, and I would probably watch him. I would probably send him to like Hook or something like that, to where it's like, I think that guy has like a crossover appeal to him.
Oh yeah,
where it's like it's fun. The stuff that he's doing with Danhausen is actually entertaining. It's quick what he does. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, I like this guy. He's kind of cool. It's like, oh, you like that? Cool. Now we can move on to some other things and expand it a little bit. I would not start people with WWE right now if I was just getting them into wrestling.
Fair enough. Aaron?
I feel like I got to take you back first. You got to learn the history before you learn what's going on here. So I'd probably go Flair Steamboat. Like, let's watch this, and then let's move on to, I got to show you how Hogan rose to power. So we'll go Hogan and Hogan Savage, Hogan Warrior, Hogan Andre. We'll show you that. We'll get you that era. Then we'll move into the new gen era. So we got to show you some Brett, some Shawn. And then we can move into the, if you like your stuff a little more attitude, we'll go into Stone Cold and DX and the NWO and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, start with Flair Steamboat.
I think a little bit Aaron hit it on the head right at the end there. What is this newbie like? I would have to speak with the newbie, sit down with the newbie, have a conversation with the newbie, get a sense of who the newbie is as a person. Then I would be able to understand where I could go with them, right? I mean, you could throw the Bailey Sasha Banks NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match in the conversation. Oh. Is he in that? Is he in that place? You could throw. I mean, I just finished watching. They've got the Hogan Savage WrestleMania Rewind on the Peacock. Man, I watched that the other night. Had been a bit since I watched that one. It is so well done. That one. That's a great way to explore how wrestling is so well done when it crosses the lines, as you both mentioned earlier, when it has a little realism thrown into some of the pre-planned stuff. So that could work as well. But is this person into the Attitude Era stuff, into like being a sarcastic son of a bitch? Well, then I'd send him right down the road to Stone Cold. Pretty much any of the Stone Cold matches, The Rock and Stone Cold, or Triple H and Stone Cold, even Triple H Foley matches could be an interesting one to send down the way as well. So it all just depends on who this person is. But right now, I would send them right into the heart of AEW. Absolutely. Into the heart of AEW. Because whatever doesn't work, there is so much more that does. So that could be the way to get you into it. And some of the characters in AEW are just fantastic right now. And so I would send them right there first, or her first, depending on who your newbie is.
I had experience with this. So like, sometimes when you send like new people to like, look how great this match is, it's like they don't have enough context, I don't think, to really get why like Flair Steamboat would be unbelievable to watch. Like, I remember I tried to get my friend into wrestling. The first match I sent him to was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn.
From NXT? That was great.
Utter banger, right?
Yeah.
But he's sitting there like, all right. Because it's like he doesn't get why like this is such great working and storytelling and this, that, and the other, and Nakamura's a big deal and Sammy's a big deal, blah blah blah. But then I showed him. I feel like I showed him like a fucking Kenny Omega thing or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, this is awesome." You know what I mean? And it was like it was modern,
different minds,
energy, and then he started to appreciate the stuff from before. So that's that.
Yeah, it's definitely have the conversation first.
Well, it's like like we talked to like Steph's Raw. Like I was talking to her about this, and she's like, if I wanted to watch wrestling, what match should I watch? I said, well, you should probably watch Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Like I think that would be a good starting place for you. You can see like two strong women with a strong story wrestle each other, and you can kind of go for there. So we probably need to revisit that with the World Girls down the line, maybe a little crossover Jones. But yeah, do something like that. But Justin Turner makes a good point. He says seeing live wrestling is the best. I feel that way about a lot of sports. Like I like hockey to an extent. I will not watch it on TV, but I've been to like Pittsburgh Penguins games, Tampa Bay Lightning games, and they're fun as hell. Like it's such a good time, and I'm really into it. But I will not watch it on TV.
Yeah, fair enough. What are you doing talking to Steph Sabra, man? Come on. King Tingling says, I'd rather see Prince Devitt in AEW. Gentlemen?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or back in New Japan.
Where is the contract up anytime soon, or is he re-upped?
I don't think so.
Get out.
I mean, how great would it be if in this crossover, the Forbidden Door, which we'll get to, like he was the big reveal at the end that Prince Devitt had come back to the situation. And what side is he on? Is he on AEW side? Is he on New Japan? Or is he just about the Undisputed Elite, which is Bullet Club Light as far as I'm concerned?
Yeah, fair. Would they do him the favor, do you think? Would they do him the favor of letting him out of that situation? I don't know.
If history's any indication, they'll be like, no, we need you. They're not going to use him at all.
That's a great point. All right, let's see here. Chris Taylor saying, if Finn never gets hurt after becoming the first Universal Champion, would he become a top guy? Yes. I'm going to answer that first right now. 100%. Finn's career is completely different if he doesn't get hurt as soon as he wins the first Universal Championship, because he was on a crest. And once he won that thing, people were ready to like be on the Finn Balor train hardcore. And he's never been able to quite recapture that ever since for whatever reason. And timing in life, ladies and gentlemen, is everything. We all know that. Look at the difference between Becky becoming the man and this second iteration of Becky as the man. It's not quite the same. Timing is everything. And I think this Universal Championship situation we got hurt after he won it was a massive detriment to Finn Balor's overall career. What do you guys think?
I want to agree with you 100%. He had all the momentum in the world. What we can talk about are the facts. Finn getting hurt not only fucked up his trajectory, but for any NXT call up from that moment.
Good point.
Every single person from NXT no longer got the straight to the moon booking.
Mm-hmm.
All of it just like, it was like they tried to like slow build people where they beat them initially. It was nothing like Finn's debut. And I think that stuck in Vince McMahon's head of just like, well, I tried it with the one guy and he got fucking hurt. And so he doesn't even like look at it as a priority anymore.
Yeah.
But I want to say yes. I want to say if he doesn't get hurt, he definitely would be a top guy. The guy is just always over.
Yeah.
He's always over. And that's why I feel like his pop is just wasted in WWE. We need Devitt back. We need him to go get a new fresh coat of paint.
Literally.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, Aaron?
I think, I think he would have been the top guy because the demon character in that run was so over.
Yeah.
Like, let's think about who he beat to get the shot at the title for Seth Rollins. He beat Roman Reigns. He beat him clean. So if that doesn't happen, Finn Balor's your champion, probably into a program with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes from there. But you got to think, man, this guy was so hot in NXT. Doing like the chain, like coming out in Texas with the chainsaw and coming out in London with the Jack the Ripper thing. Like he's just one of those things that's just unfortunate. It's like a Dolph Ziggler when he won the world title. It was like, wow, finally this great thing for Dolph. And then Jack Swagger gives him a concussion and he's never the same.
Yeah.
And that really sucks. That's just one of the stories in wrestling that really sucks. But in Finn Balor's case, you bring him back, he goes to NXT, he wins the world title, he becomes a villain. Yeah. He's great, and he's really great with that crowd. Pandemic hits. Karrion Kross comes in. Okay, we're moving on. And then he goes back to little or no fanfare.
Yeah.
Just gets drafted onto SmackDown. Here he is, blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't have a WrestleMania match this year, and it's just like, why do I even care about this guy anymore? And I love Finn Balor. And it's like, man, just let him go. Let him go.
Yeah. It's absolutely a shame. JMB says, Chris with the contemporary, Aaron with the history, Rocha with the personal. Thanks for the ideas. Also, Aaron, Chris, more ball busting of Rocha, please. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What are we busting your balls for?
I don't know. This guy loves to bust my balls all the time. About my age, and meanwhile, I look better than him. Roberto Arsenal says, I'm considering sleeping at my cousin's place in Chicago to see Forbidden Door in person. Naito is a top 5 fave wrestler for me in the world. I want to see him live. Give me Danielson versus Tanahashi, Okada versus Punk, Ospreay versus Rey Fenix would melt my brain.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. We're going to put a pin in that. We'll roll back around to it. All right, so let's jump on to our next thing here and keep those Streamlabs super chats coming, ladies and gentlemen. We got 83 of you watching right now. Hit that like button as well as we go along. All right, Aaron, where are we now going next?
All right, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite real quick. I could not find any contract information for Finn Balor. I found it for some other people, but I could not find it for him. So I don't know what his contract status is. I can also tell you that Bret Hart, a lot of people were making stuff about this, like him signing a WWE contract. Bret Hart's been under contract with the WWE since 2013, but that doesn't give them exclusive rights as they make action figures, they sell Bret Hart merchandise, but that doesn't make him exclusive to the WWE. So that is something that I think a lot of people are getting wrong in the news when they report it, because WWE, someone else who has a Legends deal with WWE, Jake the Snake Roberts, and he's on AEW TV. And guess what? They still make Jake the Snake Roberts merch you can buy on WWE Shop, and they still make action figures of Jake the Snake Roberts. So it's not an exclusive contract. He's just there under a Legends deal. Anyway, moving on to AEW Dynamite. Just want to clarify that. Top story for me was teammates Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler will go one-on-one next week for the qualifier of the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. So that'll be cool. The rest of Dynamite goes as follows. CM Punk defeated Dustin Rhodes. The Blackpool Combat Club defeated Lee Moriarty, Brock Anderson, and Dante Martin. Wardlow defeated the Butcher with 4 consecutive power bombs. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Jungle Boy to advance into the Owen Hart Tournament. Hook defeated Anthony Henry. He will fight Danhausen soon. Britt Baker defeated Danielle Camella with the help of Najee Harris and Pat Fryermuth. Anyway, Darby Allin defeated Andrade in a coffin match. And Sting came out from the crowd disguised as Sting. So thoughts on AEW Dynamite?
Well, look, if you don't mind, I'll go first here. I loved the Punk Rhodes match. That was so old school. For those of us who love that kind of knockdown, drag out, old dudes getting it on who remember how to technically wrestle, this was a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, the ending was a little flaccid because Dustin hit like 7 finishers in a row and couldn't quite put, including that great DDT, and couldn't put away Punk. And then Punk did some kind of weird rollover and won. The crowd was very appreciative. And then what it led to is that face-to-face with Hangman Adam Page. And you know what? I wasn't 100% down. And then when they came face-to-face, I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see this now. The body types are very similar. The looks are there between them. Punk even made a little bit of a half step towards Page. Page stood his ground, and I dug that. So now I'm in on this. However they make it happen, I don't know. Because, I mean, the crowd was on Dustin Rhodes' side. They were cheering his near falls the whole match. So to me, it seemed like, are they going to turn Punk heel now? Are people going to get sick of Punk being kind of in the way of the younger talent now when he was brought there to kind of elevate them? Maybe they're seeing that here with Hangman Adam Page. I mean, people are going to be in. He's got to go heel because Page's face. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that out overall. The Hook Danhausen thing. Okay, I got to tell you guys, I've not been on the Danhausen train at all.
Careful, you're getting cursed.
I know, until this fucking moment. This moment when he's like, you're going to fight me. That won me over. The chips thing, popping out of the trash can, all that stuff was fun, and I got it. And certainly that guy's super committed to that gimmick, and power to him, all power to him, because it's working. But the Hook thing, I was like, okay. And then boom, when that happened, I thought that was great. And then later when he confronts him in the back was fantastic. Britt Baker, I mean, you're coming out with 2 Steelers that couldn't win the first playoff game they were in, got killed. I mean, I don't know if that brings you a lot of cachet to be with a couple of guys that got absolutely destroyed by the Chiefs in their first playoff game last year. So I don't know. Her calling out to the women's division was an interesting tactic. And a lot of people felt like she wasn't wrong, like I referenced earlier in the show, but I don't think DMD is that interesting of a wrestler when she's not wrestling people who are kind of way at the top level. Like, she's not someone who can carry somebody like a Bayley, like a Sasha, like a Becky, like even a Charlotte. She's not someone that can carry someone who's not. So for her to say, like, she's the baddest bitch on the block, I'm not 100% in that camp yet. I think Thunder Rosa is still the baddest bitch on the block. So we'll see down the road how they set up this rematch and how she does throughout the Owen Hart tournament, because you'd be hard-pressed to believe that she's not going to win. But then again, that's going to come at the cost of some new people you've brought in and some of the younger people who are kind of in this conversation with Tony Storm and Hayter and Ruby Soho and others. Like, this is going to be interesting how this all plays out for sure. And then the Darby Allin Andrade match was fucking great. That was great. I had a really great time with that match. Enjoyed the back and forth. In no way do I think Darby Allin can beat Andrade, but they made it believable in what they did throughout the match. And shout out to Andrade for taking the loss on that one, because it doesn't hurt him. Andrade is still a huge force. So to me, good Dynamite overall. Enjoyed it from top to bottom, and looking forward to see what comes out of these matches for the next week as well. Chris?
I mean, we've said it. I mean, Dynamite is, if you want weekly wrestling, pro wrestling television that is top tier, Dynamite delivers every single week. It just is what it is. Yeah. I don't have too much to say to add to what you've talked about on various segments. The only love I want to really give is to Jungle Boy versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was a great match. Yeah. Like, Kyle O'Reilly's a great tag team wrestler, but when he gets the opportunity to be showcased in a one-on-one situation, that dude's in-ring psychology is, I mean, some of the best in the entire world.
Yeah.
The way he will attack a body part, make it really look like a fight, really incorporate actual shoot moves into what he's doing, and the way he'll reverse other people's offense into things. Like, I just think that he is absolutely phenomenal. If only he had more personality on a microphone, he could really be like a Bryan Danielson, kind of individual in pro wrestling, but not everybody has the same gifts. So I wanted to show love there. Come on. Obviously, I'm a Danhausen fan. Obviously. And I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he's starting to get the Orange Cassidy pops. Like the dude is getting over with the crowd. A lot of the smart marks, we're celebrating because this showed us that Danhausen was no longer injured, that he can wrestle again, because that's why he hasn't been wrestling, because he had a really bad injury. Hook's the perfect foil for everything that he does, because Danhausen is all pageantry and Hook is just like, can I hurt somebody? You know what I mean? Like, I don't, what is this? I'm not interested in anything else that's going on here. Orange Cassidy versus Hook could be a very interesting
my
situation.
God. That would be fun. Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I love it. I really don't know what the ceiling on Hook is at this point, because the momentum is great and the way they're building it is phenomenal. But it's like, somebody even said in the chat, he is undersized. So does he look like a world champion in the future? Can he get to that next plateau? Because to your point, John, when Page and Punk were face to face, that's when it got real.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, that is a main event. Look at those two guys. That, like, there's just something there. Like, okay, I'm in. I'm invested. And you needed the visual, not the, teases and all that. No. Right. Seeing them stand next to each other and realizing, no, these are two grown-ass men who are, about to fight for this world championship. Absolutely. That's what was missing from this whole thing. Now I'm all in for it.
Talk to me about Britt Baker, though, man. She was winded after a 3-minute match, bro. What are we talking about here?
We all said it after that last cage match with Rosa. She's been exposed at this point. Yeah. She's a great character. Yeah. But she's at her best when she's like the shit heel being protected, by her stable. Yeah. She's not, and then because she's not the Flair of the Four Horsemen to where they protect his world title, but then when he gets the match, he can go an hour. That's not who she is. No. You know what I mean? She's, I won't disrespect her to say that she's like Eva Marie, but no. She's not. It's just better when people are chasing her, because the story has to be, every babyface can beat her. You know what I'm saying? That's what the story has to be. Every babyface is better than her, but she talks so much shit and she's got these people protecting her that you're just thirsting to see that babyface beat her. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of Britt Baker works best as. Not trying to like really wrestle a whole bunch, honestly. She really should wrestle sparingly at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like MJF. That's a great point. Yeah, like 10 matches a year. Aaron, what are your thoughts on Dynamite and then also on DMD?
Someone said somewhere that like Britt Baker in that 3-minute match has had more time on air than Thunder Rosa has as the champion. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like that's awful, dude. Yeah. That's awful. Britt Baker probably never come on the show after this, but I agree. I agree with everything you said. Her getting winded after a 3-minute match, I'm not speaking to that because I'm fat and I'm out of shape. So I'm not speaking.
But I'm not going to be an athlete.
I'm just saying, like, I got winded going to the mailbox, so I'm not even going to try. But I think she's okay. So like during the pandemic and when she like broke her leg and all that stuff, like Britt was so good on the stick, like talking shit to get people to beat her up. Yes, there's just no one to beat her up. Yeah. Like right now, like Rose is the champion. She's feuding with Nyla Rose, I guess, like kind of doing that thing. And there's just like I said, it's the John Travolta thing. Like she got to the top and it was like, what the fuck? And I don't think you can have her win this Owen Hart tournament because she was just the champion. Yeah. So it seems like it's built for Britt and Tony to meet like in the semifinals or something. And then that's going to break off into a thing.
And Tony's a far better wrestler than Britt.
Of course. But I truly think like this tournament is built for like an Anna Jay or like a Jamie Hayter. I think it's built to elevate somebody. And I just don't think Britt is the right call. Other than that, what's crazy about this episode of Dynamite is that CM Punk wrestled. He did the thing with Hangman Page. Like Wardlow was great. Yeah. The coffin match was cool though. Andrade, man, God, either make up your mind Is Andrade your guy or is not? Like, what's
fair.
the difference? Like, make
That's
up your
fair.
mind.
Yeah.
Sting jumping off of stuff. Like, if you can do it, brother.
62 years old doing a 15-foot drop, 12-foot drop. Good God Almighty, man.
Fuck, how did I forget about that? That
Crazy,
was
crazy.
Bananas.
All of this stuff, and all I care about is Hook versus Danhausen, because that's all I give a shit about. And it was because I was like, this is so stupid. Like, I love Danhausen. And I was like, I can't even get behind this. Like, this is so dumb. But when Danhausen got in the ring, he's like, that's enough. He's like, you're not going to do something. You will fight Danhausen, and put his finger on his chest.
That was great.
And Hook was like, this fucking guy. And then, like, Danhausen's just like, he pull that back. And Danhausen realized, like, he fucked up. He's like, I'm going to get this shit beat out of me. I kind of want this to turn into, and I know it won't because Hook has been such this, like, serious character. I want Hook and Danhausen to be friends.
I know you were going to say that.
Danhausen to be Hook's buddy. Like, I want them to, like Hook is like trying to do like Danhausen's kind of like his agent. Like, he's just kind of doing stuff.
Yeah.
And Hook's like, he's like, well, if you want to talk to Hook, you got to talk to me first or something like that. Like, just stupid shit like that. That'd be so perfect. I would love that. So interested to see where Hook versus Danhausen goes. The stock on Wardlow is so high right now. I think he's like, he could be a Brock Lesnar type.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He could be your Brock Lesnar. I'm starting to get a little worried that I haven't seen Paige Van Zandt. I know she's been like doing some other stuff. I think she was going to book an MMA fight, so I don't know if she's in training camp. But that was kind of weird to bring her in and then she's gone. I think, and I'll say Hook and I'll get out of here, but the thing you can do with Hook, I don't think he's world champion. I think he's undersized right now. Can he be the one to save us from Sammy Guevara as the TNT champion?
Down the road.
Hook beating the shit out of Sammy Guevara would put him into the stratosphere. Do it, book it, TNT champion, Hook.
I love that idea. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I liked the Sammy Guevara Tay Conti promo. I did. I liked that promo. I mean, he is elevating her. She's a mid-carder at best. He is elevating her by being part of this whole thing, and she's playing along so well as one of those like hot influencers that you don't really like because they're kind of vapid or empty-headed, and she is doing a great job of playing that up. My only issue with the back and forth with those guys was that idiot yelling his face off the whole time in a pro. Bro, it's levels, bro. You build, bro. That's how the game works. You yelling your head off the whole time while Dan Lambert does his thing and Scorpio Sky, you didn't see them losing their fucking minds. Like, calm it down, man. I thought he was the one that ruined that whole back and forth overall. But that was my one complaint about some of the promos. But here's one thing I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, because I want you to be clear about what we witnessed the other night. This is real. This is a 63-year-old man diving off the look at that onto people. My God. Insane 63-year-old man doing that shit. But you know, Hook Danhausen, I think you guys are absolutely right. That was the number one thing to come out of that night. And especially Hook like brushing past Danhausen like he's not even there. That was a great way to kind of end that whole back and forth between them. Just to kind of like they're in high school, just pushing past him like he's nobody. It's so good. So I love it.
Could be a great story of Hook learns to respect Danhausen from the battles they get ready to have. And that becomes what the storyline is.
Yeah, maybe.
He said he wanted to fight him. He said he came to Hook and said, I want to fight you. You'll fight me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw a lot of people commenting down below that segment there that they want Hook and Danhausen to eventually become a tag team.
Yeah.
And I could see those guys winning a tag team title. The tag team titles AEW for sure. Them versus FTR down the road, that could be a real interesting match.
I don't know about that, but like maybe feud him with like, I don't know, Private Party, Butcher and Blade. Like, let him get some dubs under their belt. I'm not saying right now. I'm saying
down the road. I mean, a year from now, bro, we're gonna revisit this a year from now, and you're gonna be like, this is the greatest match I've ever seen. I don't know.
Imagine if you will.
Yeah.
Danhausen, the collector of teeth, very nice, very evil. What if Hook becomes the guy that collects teeth for Danhausen? He beats the crap out of people. Then Danhausen just is like, oh, teeth to my jar. Like, I love that idea.
I like this.
I'll be meeting Danhausen in a few weeks. So.
Oh, nice.
Hookhausen. Yes, Zeno Hour.
That's the thing. Hookhausen. There you go.
And someone said that Paige Van Zant was on Rampage. So whoops. Didn't catch Rampage. Caught me there.
All right. Well, let's move on to the Forbidden Door conversation. Let's do it, Aaron. What is this all about? Explain it, please.
All right. So Tony Khan, the big announcement was for this week's Dynamite, and it happened.
Yeah.
It is that AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling will be combining to present a pay-per-view aptly called Forbidden Door that will take place at the United Center in Chicago. That's where the Bulls play. United Center in Chicago on June 26th. Like not a year away, like pretty daggone soon.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring in a few notes. We can talk about that. Japanese women's organization Stardom will not be involved. It was announced this week, so not sure how the AEW talent will wrestle or will be involved with this pay-per-view. Hopefully they will, I assume.
Yeah.
Worth noting that AEW talents have been working with New Japan lately. John Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia, to name a few, as well as Jay White, Rocky Romero, Ishii, Kenta, and others working in AEW. Thoughts on this, guys, and any New Japan AEW dream matches you're thinking about?
Look at this thing. That's a great promo. Love that look. Love the graphic. Perfectly done. Here's my prediction. This is where Kenny Omega returns. That's my prediction. Chris, what do you think about this?
It makes the most sense. I mean, if he's ready, if he's ready to go, amazing. But I don't think you can have this show and not have him show up. He's the top star of both promotions. You know what I mean? Like he was the guy at the top when New Japan got all the interest that they were getting here in the West. Like that's just undisputed. So people can call him Kenny Olivier all you want and critique him and all that other stuff. What are the facts? When New Japan was getting all the attention, who was the top star? Kenny Omega. So it just is what it is. And it'd be weird if he didn't, at least cut a promo or announce he was returning or do an angle, something. Yeah. But yeah, what am I going to say? I'm fucking stoked about this situation. Like, because up until this point, I think that we've had some cool crossover matches. Murder Grandpa Suzuki has been around, and Kenta with John Moxley happened, and we've seen a couple things here and there, but everybody's been saying the same thing. Okay, when do we get Okada? When do we get Naito? When do we get Tanahashi? When do we get all the the elite of the elite in New Japan? The Good Brothers have been kicking around. When do we get to see the God? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've just been waiting for it. And damn you, Doom Tribe T. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Versus Bryan Danielson is exactly my dream match.
Yeah.
Good? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go finish your point. Sorry about it. Good.
No, I was going to say, as far as dream matches, I mean, come on, guys. You saw how much thought I put into that fucking Alexa Bliss storyline. I need time to think, like, what all the things that I want to see. There's so many things that I want to see.
Yeah.
The big outlier to me is kind of Naito. Who's like the perfect Naito opponent? Like, who embodies AEW the way he embodies New Japan? Like, that one's a kind of tough for me. But I'd love to see FTR versus the God. I think that'd be incredible. I need time. But Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., that's my number one. Literally my number one.
Okay. Aaron, thoughts on this? I mean, Forbidden Door pay-per-view happening. We've heard the Forbidden Door term coming up a lot over the last few weeks. Sure. We had Jay White on the show talking about that possibility, and now here it is as a pay-per-view. A, what was your reaction to it? And B, what do you anticipate we'll see from this?
It's not what I was expecting. I got to be honest. I was expecting, because, you always hear the rumors of streaming and stuff like that. I was like, well, maybe he's going to talk about Ring of Honor where it will live on television, which would have been great.
Yeah.
But I also saw a lot of people online like kind of shitting on this. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I'm here to tell you, listen, like, I'm not going to front like I'm some kind of New Japan expert. I'm not going to front like I'm the biggest fan of All Elite Wrestling. I'm not going to front. I got fucking jacked Like, hey, yo, like this is what I'm talking about. Like the first thing that popped into my head was Tanahashi versus CM Punk. That was the first one that popped into my brain. And I was like, oh yeah, yep, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. is a great one. Of course, God FTR is just kind of like, it's there. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Naito, Adam Cole. Like, let's just do that. Like, why not?
Wow.
I know Kenta is pushing for a match with CM Punk. It's not going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. We need a little higher profile than that. What about the Blackpool Combat Club versus the fucking Bullet Club?
Wow.
Like, what about something like that?
Good God.
Like, let's get them all in there. Like, you know, and if they add somebody, so let's say it's like Danielson, Yuta, Moxley versus the God and Jay White, and like they throw in Chris Bay. So the Blackpool Combat Club has to bring in somebody else. And Samoa Joe's already turned him down, so it's not gonna be Samoa Joe. But like, imagine if they got like, you know, whoever they added there. Yeah. And for the record, the Blackpool Combat Club should add Pac. Just throwing that out there.
That's good.
But yeah, MJF. Like, we didn't even talk about that. Like MJF versus somebody.
He could fight Naito. That would be fun.
There you go. I mean, come on. Like, what happens? Like, do we have crossover? Like, does Jay White like turn on Adam Cole, like his buddy, and like stuff like that? Do they face each other? And does Andrade rejoin Los Ingobernables? Ingobernables. I can't even say it right. But like, what if that happens? Like, what if Sombra comes back? Los Sombra. So there's a lot of possibilities here, man. So like, I think that's exciting. Like, I can't say that if like WWE and Impact like got together, I can't say that I would be like super stoked about it. I'm like, yeehaw, like Moose versus Bobby Lashley. Wow, that sounds like a great win for Bobby Lashley. Like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. But this is awesome. So I'm excited about this.
Let me run you through some of these, man, because I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. I'm looking at Bleacher Report, some of their predictions that we might see at this Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Miro versus Jeff Cobb as a possibility.
Oh, shit. Big meaty men slapping me. Come on. Come on.
Reinforce the ring. Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Orange Cassidy, and Toru Yano versus the House of Torture with Evil Show, Takahashi, and Dick Togo.
Dick to go. Don't care.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I like Takahashi.
Kenta versus Sammy Guevara. That could be interesting.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, Ospreay versus Sammy Guevara.
All right, that's fair. El Desperado versus Darby Allin.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Darby.
Yeah, Darby. There's no way Darby's not involved in this. Malachi Black versus Minoru Suzuki.
That'd work.
Yeah, all right. FTR versus God, as you said earlier. Definitely Keith Lee and Swerve versus Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi. Yes, no, yes, maybe.
I don't think they're necessarily pushing Keith Lee and Swerve right now. I could be wrong.
They had them fighting each other. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Brian Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.
That's the one.
That's a great one. That's so good.
That's the one.
Samoa Joe versus Tomohiro Ishii. I like this idea.
Gorilla fight, baby.
Yeah, another big meaty men slapping meat. I'll take it.
Someone could die from that match. Andrade versus Naito. Yes? No?
Yeah, do it.
The leaders of the Ingobernables. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Be fun. Moxley versus Tanahashi.
No.
Okay.
No, hell no.
Right.
I don't like it.
All right.
Tanahashi's so much better as a pure wrestler than John Moxley. It's such a bad clash of styles.
Okay. Adam Page versus Will Ospreay.
No, same thing here. Clash of styles.
Yeah.
All right. Golden Elite versus the Undisputed Elite. Oh my.
That could be fun.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
CM Punk versus Okada.
Yeah. It's either Okada or Tanahashi. It's got to be one of the two.
All right. I like these predictions. And I want to run one more by you guys real quick because it's a Twitter one that I saw that I kind of enjoyed looking at here. This one from E. Chris says, "With my ideas: Naito versus Andrade, Darby versus Hiromu, Joe versus Ishii, Okada versus Danielson. Omega calls out Okada after for a rematch. Oh my! Evil versus Kingston, Tanahashi versus Moxley, Ospreay versus Dante Martin. That seems a little further down the card than it needs to be. Bucks versus God versus Time Splitters, White versus Jungle Boy, Cole and Red versus Suzuki-gun, Hangman versus Sonata, and Punk versus Dickinson. Thoughts on any of those? And Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus the Time Splitters over here from Michael Mullins underneath.
We didn't talk about him leaving.
Yeah, we didn't.
NXT.
Kushida no longer with WWE NXT. So
Oof.
could he and Alex Shelley reunite in New Japan? So you could see that. And maybe. I got to tell you, man, like the Ospreay and Dante Martin, like as cool of a match that would be to see because their styles are very similar. There's gonna be limited spots on this card.
Yep.
And I don't think Dante Martin's gonna get one of those spots. I'm sorry. Not in a singles match anyway.
That's what I was thinking. What about you, Chris? What do you think on any of these matches?
I mean, yeah. Again, I'm all about the gorilla fight of Joe and Ishii. Hangman Sonata. I think I would go Sonata, Sammy Guevara would be a sick one.
Yeah.
Someone. Who's he got? Who's that with? Oh, no one's mentioned Ibushi.
Oh, well, he's hurt. So he's hurt. So we don't know if he's going to be like him and Kenny Omega are kind of the toss up. Like, are they both going to be
right? Okay. But yeah, that would be some of these I can get down with. Like,
okay, all right. Just want to get you guys' thoughts initially.
The Golden Lovers, Ibushi and Kenny Omega reunite to take on somebody.
But
when you talk about Jericho.
Yeah, go ahead, Jericho's mentioned the dream match for him would be Ospreay. Yeah.
Good luck, pal. That ain't happening.
I'm about to say Jericho ain't got the wind to be wrestling the Will Ospreay. Like, what the hell is he thinking about?
Got that Britt Baker wind going up against the fucking cardio machine. I don't think so.
House of Torture versus House of Black.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, no women's matches. We don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put that in stone. That's just at the moment. Like there's not going to be a crossover between AEW and Stardom. There could still be women's matches on the card. We just don't know where that would come from. Right. Give me Io Shirai, or not. Listen to me. Give me Kairi Sane versus fucking anybody from over there. That'd be great.
True.
Right.
Very true. Oh, so this is fantastic. I mean, this is another. I mean, let's talk about it real quick. This is another good step for AEW in their prominence, right? Pretty massive to see this happening. So, I mean, that they seem to have their finger more firmly on the pulse of the wrestling fan, where WWE may have their finger on the pulse of the entertainment fan, the sports entertainment fan. It seems to me like AEW has their finger more on the pulse of the wrestling fan and bringing that to the forefront and having people enjoying that on a larger scale, considering they're a smaller company. I think it's incredible to do this. You know, I don't know where the fuck he's going to sleep now, Tony. I don't know when he's going to sleep now, but what do you guys think about this as a next step for AEW?
I mean, it's just the right one, the logical one, the smart one. Look, to me, WWE is Sauron, and every other promotion is the Fellowship of the Ring coming together to take down this, you know what I mean? This insurmountable evil. Because I mean, it just is what it is. They're the one. They're the Titan. They're the one that. I mean, it's because it gets so insulting at times. Like WWE clearly doesn't even feel like they need to change, and they remain number one. Like, so if you're everyone else, why not work together? Why not trade talent? Why not give us what WWE isn't?
Yeah.
And that's how you gain an advantage. What are your advantages? What can you do that they won't do?
Yeah.
And what they won't do is play nice with other big promotions. It'd be the biggest thing in the world if WWE opened it up and did a crossover with AEW. But they're stuck in their own world. They have tunnel vision about WWE, and that's the only universe that happens. They wouldn't even mention freaking COVID-19 on their programming until very recently. They acted like it didn't exist. They didn't even explain, why they were in the Thunderdome era. It was just like, this new format from WWE. It's like, they're like on a different planet. So it's like, okay, you don't have to do that if you're AEW. And I'm glad that they've made the decision that they're not going to. They're going to acknowledge that there's more wrestling out there, and they're going to give the fans what they want to see and make it exciting. And so all for it. It's the right thing to do. Another masterstroke by Tony Khan. Fantastic. Ease up on the amount of times that you're going to do a huge announcement, okay? Because it's going to be diminishing returns from here on out. I can almost promise you that.
Yeah, people are going to start expecting it, and you're not going to be able to meet that expectation. Aaron, thoughts on this as the next step for AEW and NJPW, really?
I mean, it's massive. Like, New Japan has tried so hard to get that foothold in America, and it's worked somewhat. I mean, they had Jim Ross on commentary for a while, so like that was really their foothold, like doing the English broadcast of Wrestle Kingdom and getting that going. But it's not really like it's a factor for the really hardcore fans, but it's just not. It doesn't have that footprint. So maybe AEW can help with that. It feels like AEW does cater to that. Like, hey, let's give them dream matches, storyline. Sometimes be damned, and we'll give it to them. WWE says, "Let me give you this 6-man tag every single fucking week." So it's just like, and to an extent, WWE is not wrestling, right? That's what Vince likes to think, but it is. But anyway, it's massive. It's the Sauron and Fellowship of the Ring is so apt. Like, I mean, you could say like Thanos, but it's like it's not as good. Like this, the all-seeing eye is WWE because they see everything. I think that I wonder if they propose, like Tony was like, listen, I've got Ring of Honor too. Like I got a couple of guys there. Like we can make this really big. I mean, I could probably get Impact involved, and then New Japan was like, well, let's not. Like, we don't need to do that. So I think it's great. I think it's gonna be a great show, whether you're an AEW fan or not. And if you're a new, it's got so much good crossover appeal because look at those, super card that Ring of Honor used to do with New Japan. Like it was so big. For both of those organizations to work together, and they, did Madison Square Garden, which WWE had only ran for like 50 years or whatever. So it could be the signs of something big, but like Chris alluded to, you got to keep up the momentum after this because if you don't, damn son.
So. Don't let it become like back in the day when WCW used to do shows with New Japan, and it was like it was like booked poorly. And it really dumb matches that weren't that exciting. But if you ever want to see some like weird shit that looks like alternate universe, go on that YouTube machine and Google like back in the day when the WWF would do stuff with New Japan.
Oh yeah,
that don't even seem like it actually ever really happened, but it happened.
AAA.
You know what I mean? Hogan wrestling the Great Muta and shit like that. Like you would treat yourself. Trust me, it's something to see.
NJPW put that match up as a classic. I literally watched it the other night. It's so funny you bring that up. Hogan versus Muta. And Hogan wins. And I was like, what? And
shocker of all shockers there.
And Hogan worked. It wasn't the 3 moves of doom. He wrestled in that match. It was like, this is insane to look at.
This is one thing that Aaron has schooled me about that I just did not even factor into my head was that WWE sometimes will make a wrestler change their abilities in order to fit within the narrative that they're telling. And it's frustrating because like, they can't wrestle. They can't wrestle. I don't understand the idea of limiting a wrestler's talent and abilities and moves in the ring in order to showcase a storyline because you make them look like they can't wrestle. And that doesn't make sense to me on so many levels. And Hogan, seeing all the moves he could do, you're like, why the fuck didn't we get that in WWF at the time? So,
well, let me give you a good example of that. Let me give you Ray Traylor, a.k.a. Big Boss Man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Big Boss Man is just, he's just a big guy. Move around. Go watch some of those matches he had with Hogan. He would just kind of out of nowhere do the Boss Man slide. And I think people were like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a 300-pound guy, like being agile as hell. Like, don't stop doing that. Like, he kind of stopped doing that after a while. But Ray Traylor was one of those big guys that was, super athletic, could pull off a drop kick every once in a while. I was like, what the hell? So, yeah, that's a guy that I always really like.
My man could move. You're right about that.
He could.
Yeah, him and Kamala could move, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let him fool you, those sizes. All right, well, there you go. Aaron, anything else we need to get into? Are we good to go?
It says on here we've got Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair contract signing.
Yeah, did you guys watch that? It was terrible. Charlotte Flair, they couldn't even get the table flip over right. And then she's like, kendo stick. Oh, there it is. And it was like, oh, my God, this was horrifically bad. And the Drew, what is it, Gulag, whatever his fucking name is,
Drew Gulak,
whatever his name is, him getting involved in Ronda signing it on his chest. It was so lame. And I'm just going, nobody wants this matchup. Nobody wants this matchup. I don't care what the fans are screaming about in the stadium. Nobody wants this fucking matchup, man. It's going to be boring. And this whole time clock thing is going to be even worse.
Yeah, sounds awful. The only thing good about SmackDown, I watched it last night. The only good part of it was Riddle and I think Jey Uso had a match. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton just celebrating like a child when Riddle beat Jey Uso.
Yeah.
And something else we can talk about. 20 years Randy Orton's been in the business.
Yeah.
20 years. And they're celebrating on Monday night, whatever the fuck that means. But yeah, man, like, can we talk real quick? I mean, we got a little time. We talk about favorite Randy Orton moments.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think?
Him becoming a better person. That's my favorite Randy moment.
That's pretty good.
I was going to put that on the table right now, number one for me, because some of those stories you heard about Randy in the past, and look, we've all got, stuff we navigated in the past, or maybe some behavior we're not happy about in the past. We've all done that. It's part of growth. It's part of evolution as a human being. But certainly Randy's stuff was kind of out there with some of the sexual harassment stuff, some of the other, some of the violent stuff that he got involved in. So certainly there was some real issues Randy was working through in the past there. But even John Cena gave him a fantastic compliment on Twitter for celebrating the 20 years and said, you guys can celebrate all things you want. I'm celebrating the fact that he has become a better human being. And that's something that I want to celebrate more than anything else. And I think that's true. But that doesn't take away from the incredible matches and moments that he's been involved in. You think of the thumbs down situation with Triple H, which is so great with Evolution. You think of the RKOs out of nowhere, the stomps, hitting Vince, the fight in the slapping John Cena's dad. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you could go through with Randy Orton that were incredible stuff. And to see him be a warrior who is still in the most fantastic shape of his life, 20 years on in his career. You look at Dustin Rhodes, who's been doing it that long. Randy might be doing it as long as Dustin Rhodes has been doing it. And that is going to be insane to see down the road. So those are my thoughts on Randy. Gentlemen, you take it away.
I've sung the praises of Randy Orton many times on this program. He is a surgeon in the ring. He has the most over finisher still in wrestling after all of these years. He adapts to any situation that they ever put him in. When he is motivated, no one can touch him, neither on the mic or in the ring. I mean, he's one of the best of all time. He really is. He was genetically engineered to be a pro wrestler, and it shows in his work over the years. I mean, I remember when he was like, the elevated sort of pretty boy legacy. And then he had to go through that match with Mick Foley. And I'll never forget that cell when he hits the thumbtacks for the first time and that look on his face of like, what in God's name did I get myself into? And it's just from that moment, it's like, this dude has been the real deal. And I've said it, and I still think so. He should be the one to end Roman's current run as champion. Not in the storyline, but take the title away from him.
I mean, RKO off the top rope would be insane. Aaron.
I think for a lot of Randy initially, it was too much too soon because, like, who could handle being in main events with Mick Foley, The Rock and Mick Foley at WrestleMania, and then The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21? Like, who could do that? And I've kind of said, like, if Randy Orton had the maturity level that he had today against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21, then Randy Orton should have won because he was so damn good in that match, countering that chokeslam and an RKO. It's great. Funny story about the RKO. Like, they wanted to give Randy a different finish because his finish was the crossbody off the top. It's fucking dumb. And Vince said, come up with something. So he stole the diamond cutter, essentially. And they said, we're not going to let you use it unless you come up with a good name for it. And he was like, shit, I don't know. And he thought they were kidding. He's like, I didn't think I had to come up with it. Yeah. He's like, so I just told him my initials. Randall Keith Orton, RKO. And it stuck. And it's great. So great. I mean, he's also like the youngest world champion in history. Yeah. He beat Chris Benoit. That's revisionist history, but he beat Chris Benoit. That happened. And just so great, man. Like, everything he did, rated RKO. Yeah. I think the punt, of course.
The punt
knocked CM Punk out of his first world title reign. But anyway, the thing I remember most, and I was watching like this Randy Orton compilation the other day, when him and Triple H were feuding, and he had Triple H handcuffed to the ropes, and he knocked out Stephanie with an RKO in the ring, and he grabbed the sledgehammer like he was going to hit Triple H, and he just slowly like put it down, and he was like, you didn't know what he was going to do. Then he got on his knees next to Stephanie, And then you kind of started to think he's not gonna. And then he slowly goes in and Triple H is like, you son of a bitch. And he plants a big fat kiss right on Stephanie McMahon. And Triple H is like, what the fuck? Like, it was great. So good. So good. So Randy Orton as the Viper is always my favorite. I feel like he's always going to be that guy. When he turns on Riddle, I know people want Riddle to turn on him. It's just going to be so good.
He's totally going to turn on Riddle. Yeah.
You know, the stuff with Edge, like the history that they have. Like, it's just, I hated Randy Orton. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I dream this, or did at one point he put a tool in Jeff Hardy's earlobe?
Yeah, a screwdriver. And twisted it. Yeah, Randy Orton is the fucking man. It took me so long to realize that, but like Randy Orton is the fucking man, and I love him now.
Yeah. Remember that triple threat match with Triple H and Cena with him? I mean, good God,
WrestleMania main event.
Yes,
phenomenal,
it was incredible. So yes, the tool. Yes, and I do remember the Triple H thing. That was incredible. It was
screwed over Daniel Bryan in his first WWE Championship win.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So
legend killer Randy Orton. I mean, RKO and Sergeant Slaughter. Like, God.
Didn't he punt Vince? He punted Vince. That's the thing I remember.
And Linda.
Stephanie was crying. Oh, that's right, Linda.
Hey.
And he RKO'd Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. Like, he didn't give a fuck. It was great. And he would act like all surprised, like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I got away with it. But for the longest time, like 2006, like they had really groomed Randy Orton and John Cena. Like that was the top guys.
Right.
And then Randy was in his shit. And he got injured. Mm-hmm. And then it was Batista. Batista took that spot. In 2006, it was Batista and John Cena were the top. And then now Randy Orton has slid back into the place where he should have been all along. He's fucking great.
Plus, he's got the greatest fucking shirts. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to put this on the table. One day we're going to have a debate about this. Randy's shirts are some of the best, if not the best collection of shirts ever, with some of the greatest designs, greatest colors, greatest looks. And he's been doing it for 20 years, as Aaron said here. So there's a lot to choose from. He has some of the most consistently great shirts. Now, I know we have a shirt expert on the show in Christopher Burns, the Darkitect, but I will put my credibility on the line and argue and debate that he's got the best shirts of any wrestler. I just put it on the table. One shirt,
I feel Bret the Hitman Hart would like a word about best shirts collection of all time. Oh my God!
Did you see the Randy Orton
and a Bret shirt? Go ahead.
Did you see the RK Bro 420 shirt?
I did.
Well,
fantastic.
Yeah, it is right.
Fantastic. Did he RKO Stacy Keibler? Senor? Oh no!
Yes. Probably. No, Austin stunned Stacy Keibler. So yeah.
Oh God, poor Stacy. God bless her.
God loves Stacy.
She's in the new WWE Prism set. She signed a Legends deal. She's got a new figure coming out. Shout out to her.
She could have been Mrs. George Clooney. I think
she's doing just fine.
Yeah, she's fine. But yeah, his shirts are. I'm going to put. One day we're going to have the debate. Once I get them all collected in terms of pictures, we're going to put out and have a conversation.
I will raise you the Val Venus cocked, locked, and loaded Attitude Era shirt.
But that's over one anything. Shirt I'm talking about consistently.
It's better than any damn shirt there ever was.
You're insane.
Oh boy.
I think Austin, Rock, and the Viper, Randy are like the three that vie for me in my mind consistently number of shirts that were all great. I've never seen a bad Randy Orton shirt. Never once.
I can't even do this. I can't do this right now. We will revisit this conversation at some point.
We may have to do a thing about WWE merch because I could tell you a lot of bad merch.
This could be when we do our Patreon. This could be a fun conversation that's just for the patrons. So yeah, absolutely, I'm down with that. A tour through Chris's shirts, that would be fun. Kevon Watson, real quick, says I totally agree with Chris. Randy should take it from Reigns as soon as Reigns calls himself a legend.
I love it.
Then Randy goes back to being the legend killer. That is genius. Oh, I love that idea. For God's sakes.
Could you imagine like Paul Heyman being like, he's the tribal chief. He's a living legend. And Randy Orton's like, what did you just say?
Talk to me. And everyone's just like, oh, you said it. You said it. You fucked up. You Beetlejuiced it. He's on his way.
What? Ranger Donald? Nobody touches Cena. Get the fuck out of here with Cena shirts. Get the fuck out of here.
He's got a lot of good ones, though.
Fruit Loops. Those are Fruit Loop shirts. Get out of here with that stuff.
He's got a great, that AWA tribute one's pretty badass.
Oh, please. Yeah. I do like the Never Give Up.
Guys, let's not do this right now. This is going to be a whole different episode, whole different conversation.
Chris is the Sauron of t-shirts.
My head. I mean, there's just so many things happening in my mind. So many Macho Man shirts going through my brain. So many Rick Rude shirts. I'm like, I can't right now.
Fair enough. Let's with the Macho Man shirts. I'm not going to argue the Macho Man shirts. Oh God! All right, let's move on. We gotta answer some of these before we get out of here. Sorry, we're going a little bit long. King Dingaling says, "I'm no AEW fanboy, but this Forbidden Door pay-per-view will be the biggest gut punch to Vinnie Mac. The potential of matches craps all over what WWE puts out. Yeah, it may, but I guarantee it's not going to get the numbers that a WWE pay-per-view is going to get. But then again, calling it WrestleMania Backlash is essentially admitting that we need to put WrestleMania on everything to sell stuff because people aren't showing up and we're not hitting the numbers we did before, in my opinion."
Vince McMahon is still going to be Ted DiBiase laughing all the way to the bank.
True.
While this until he's legitimately unseated as the standard in the industry, he's not going to be phased, right? There's no gut punch to Vince McMahon unless Tony Khan buys the WWE.
I don't want to be a dick to you, Mr. Dingaling, but you know why Vince McMahon isn't working with New Japan Pro Wrestling? Because he doesn't fucking have to.
Yeah, he doesn't need to.
So there you go.
Right. Clarissa saying Chris is malfunctioning or t-shirt conversation.
Wild some of the takes being thrown out in that.
All right. Bat Bomb 82 says, are any of you excited for the new AEW video game? If so, what do you want to see in it, and who's the first wrestler you're playing as? Also, Air, what new unreleased wrestling figure are you looking to pick up for the future?
I guess I should take that one first. I'm looking forward to the AEW game. I think it'll be good because it's made by THQ, who made all the good SmackDown versus Raw stuff and stuff like that. So I'm hoping it'll be good. The first person I probably play as is probably Darby because I'm pretty sure you can do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I don't have any figures I'm looking at right now. I'm hoping that for San Diego Comic-Con, they announced that Bret Hart exclusive in the Canadian tuxedo.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm hoping we get that. But I've been super into cards lately, WWE cards, like WWE Prism. Like
Gigi Dolan is my favorite wrestler.
So, I would suggest if you're an investor, invest in some WWE Prism because it's the hottest thing in cards right now. So,
wow.
Shawn Michaels sold for $18,000. Welcome to the hobby. There you go.
Holy shit. When did that go on sale?
The
originals before they became $18,000. Jesus.
So you have to pull it from a box of Prism, and a box of Prism will run you about $1,000.
Wow.
And it was a one of one. So there's no other black Shawn Michaels Prism one of one. $18,000.
And they knew what they were doing. Just put that in there and gave somebody $18,000.
I could try to explain the card hobby to you. It's fucking nuts. So I'm not going to. But all I'm saying is there was a Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman triple card, what they call the logo man, which is the logo of their NBA jerseys, like the NBA logo, all on one card for each guy, game used jersey, and it's worth about $500,000.
Jesus Christ!
So there you go. Cards are insane. Cards are insane.
I was co-hosting games last year for NBA Top Shot with Ellis, and I had no idea how big those NBA Top Shot cards were. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I bought my washer and dryer with my winnings from NBA Top Shot.
Good God.
Brand new washer and dryer.
Wow.
NFTs, baby.
All right. Okay. Justin Toner says, hi, guys. My New Japan knowledge is not that deep, but I look forward to this Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I'd love to see Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. NXT 2.0 with the Joe Gacy Braun stuff was not good this week, but Escobar versus Carmelo Hayes was good. Okay.
Carmelo Hayes is great. You should absolutely invest in Carmelo Hayes. You definitely should invest in him.
Okay. All right.
NXT sucks.
Thank you. That's
Tiffany Stratton versus Saray, pretty good. I like what I'm seeing from Tiffany Stratton.
Okay.
Keto Lions.
Of course. True.
Senior Nerd says, better Randy Orton theme song, Burn in My Light or Voices? I go Voices, man.
Voices.
Voice is more iconic at this point.
Yeah, it's like the glass shattering. As soon as you hear that fucking first song or first note, you're in. Jamin John says, who overall stunner, best Rock or Austin Theory? What?
The Rock.
The Rock? Yeah,
Rock.
yeah.
Scott Hall had the best sell. It's fucking great.
I'm telling you right now, I know I'll give the guy all shit. McAfee's sell was fantastic. That's how you sell it.
Toppled over like a cut down tree.
Just fucking down, spew, and fall over. Perfect. You don't bounce around the ring like a fucking top. Just fucking take it because it knocks you out.
Is there anybody on more of a role than Pat McAfee? Like getting the Amazon? They're saying he's going to get the Amazon job now with NFL Network and all that kind of stuff. And
incredible, man. Go get your money.
Did you see that picture that they posted of backstage at WrestleMania with McAfee and Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. Like Pat McAfee with the biggest smile on his face, Stone Cold Steve Austin smiling, like everybody cheering for him in the background. It was awesome. Good for Pat McAfee.
It was good stuff for sure. All right, well, there we go. I think that's all the Streamlabs Super Chat. So let's get on out of here, gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching our show. Sorry we went 2 hours. We're really trying to keep the show to 90 minutes, but you guys are so awesome with your questions, thoughts, and comments. It extends the length of the show, so we appreciate it madly. We are working on the Patreon. Just to let you guys know again, we are working on creating a Patreon and the benefits for that so that, you guys can contribute and support everything we're doing. And maybe we can use some of that money to kind of lure some of these stars to come on and be interviewed by us and have some fun and ask them exclusive questions from you all who are patrons of Strong Style. So we're definitely working on that for sure. Remember to hit a like on this video right now as we're wrapping up. If you haven't hit a like on this video, we'd appreciate it. Another fun show. Chris Burns, the Architect, please let people know where they can find you, brother.
I am going to, you can find me at all my social media stuff at Chris_please, but I'm going to be digging shirts out of the archives to fucking educate y'all next week. Good God Almighty.
Fair enough. Aaron Turner, another fun show with you, my brother. Where can people find you and everything going on?
I didn't feel like I slandered any shirts, but okay. You can find me at only Aaron Turner on the interwebs. And like I said, invest in the hobby. There's the big dog. Invest in Roman Reigns. Invest in Prism. And follow us there on TikTok at strong_style_live. Follow us there. Follow the TikTok.
Yeah.
And, maybe Patreon soon.
You're doing a great job on the TikTok, man. It's blowing up like crazy. The videos are getting thousands of views. Great stuff, man. Just want to give you some love and give you your flowers here on the show.
Sure.
As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and Twitch. The Outlaw Nation on Twitch there. Go and follow me. I'm going to do a Batman watch along maybe today. Got to work things out with the girlfriend and see if I can find 3 hours of my day to do the Batman watch along on Twitch. We're going to figure it out. And next week, I will be in Vegas at CinemaCon. So I will be giving you some stuff coming out from Sony Pictures. I'm going to get a chance to see Top Gun Maverick. I'm going to get there for the Lionsgate promotion, the Disney stuff. Are they going to have any Star Wars or Marvel stuff? So make sure you subscribe to the channel down below for some of my updates coming out of CinemaCon. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the content we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel. All right, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new live episode of Strong Style.